now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod, Rick Mexa, Corey Sandin, and
I got you. Perfecto, buddy.
For fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod, Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup, man. Do we have a fun show for you today? Pete Gray out of town, down in Mexico, getting a little R&R, making sure the surf is still appropriate down there. And, man, we have a lot of fun. We got our good buddy, Wayne Cotto, is going to be in the co-host chair with us this morning. And, man, do we have a fun show for you today. Captain Cameron from the Mission Bell is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking all kinds of fishing, local fishing, offshore fishing, and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of year again. San Diego Monster Jam is back, and your San Diego County Ford dealers can get you close to the action. This month, Monster Jam is happening at Snapdragon Stadium on January 10th and 11th. Visit your local Ford dealer to take a test drive and receive exclusive complimentary pit passes for Monster Jam. That's right. Come drive a Ford F-150, Bronco, or Explorer and get those pit passes to see Gravedigger and Velociraptor up close and personal while supplies last. Visit buyfordnow.com to find your participating local San Diego County Ford dealer for Monster Jam pit passes today. Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Boy, do we have a great show for you today. We got Captain Cameron from the Mission Bell in the house. Boy, we've been talking and having fun already in the studio. We're going to have a great show. And Ricky, welcome. I'm back.
Yeah, man, you've been on quite the mission. I've been following along social media. Wayne, you've been in different states every day. It seems like this week.
Yeah, we were up in. I was up in Sacramento the whole week and trying to do things to support us as fishermen and anglers out on the water. Working legislators and the department and Fish and Game Commission.
Got it. So your legislation was in Sacramento, not in D.C.
No, this
got
was
it.
In
So
Sacramento.
it was this state, just a lot of travel. Okay.
All the way up north.
All right. Well, that makes me feel a little better. I thought you were on a different coast and then back to here. So that makes me feel a little better.
It felt like that. It's cold up there.
I guess I should read the words instead of just glancing at the photo and scrolling along. But I'm glad to hear you made it. And yeah, lots going on up there in Sacramento. Boy, in addition to legislation, the ISE show's happening. So first kind of kickoff to any of the shows, and
absolutely
we get the our first big one that we're really excited for, that PCS show. It's around the corner. That's the goings on of the tackle shop. We're already planning and packing and everything for a big for the big PCS shows coming up. So yeah, lots going on.
The great news is that we were up there in Sacramento and the first day it opened and there was such enthusiasm. Not only the vendors, but the people. They were out there, they were buying, they were happy, they were talking, they were booking trips. That is just a good precursor to what we're going to see at PCS. It's going to be insane.
That's cool, man. Well, speaking of good and early starts, man, we're just in. This has been an oddly fun winter time with, it's January and it's supposed to be cold and you're supposed to hope that you can find an area to catch a sculpin and a whitefish, and man, it's been bonita all season long, and the water's still 60 degrees plus, outside, and it looks beautiful. And man, what a good year to decide to buy a full day boat like the Mission Bell. And we're so stoked to have Captain Cameron in here. Cam, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Yeah, well, we're certainly pumped to have you. And what's been going on with the Bell? I mean, I know this is maintenance time, get ready, but there's fish looming. I mean, this is an interesting time as a boat owner, I'm sure.
Yeah, I kind of ending my lobster season and watching those guys, the half day boats, leave and they go around the corner, and we've had such epic weather, and within 40 minutes you see the whole fleet drifting, and it's just like, it looks like glass and the 3-day boats offshore. Everyone's in stops.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're getting them. But yeah, Mission Bell, we're kind of starting to get into maintenance. We have the engines torn apart and starting to do all the not so fun parts of boat work. And yeah, you kind of look at terrafins and see the water up and down the coast and offshore, and there's some warm water around.
Yeah.
And, it's fingers crossed it's springtime yellowtail.
I sure hope so, man. It just feels like a good one. We're in a great stretch of weather, and you see the fish biting, and you see the guys in the new Seaforth are catching bonitas every day, and it's the type of setup where it sure wouldn't surprise anybody if it kicked off nice and early.
Yeah, I mean, I remember years when I was a deckhand on the American Angler. It's like there was days we'd cancel boat work and jump on a skiff and fish, yellowtail and IB in the afternoon.
I love that.
It was the best, and it's been 10 or 15 years since we've seen that, so we'll welcome it.
I know everybody is just like yourself. I mean, you can feel that the fleet feels like it's going to be an early start, because there's nobody that's not that's not ready for it, that's turning wrenches on their boats right now. And this is a time of year when maybe you take your little shot and you go on vacation for a couple weeks, but it seems like everybody basically shut down and just got started again to be ready, because just like you said, I mean, the water is good. It just feels like it's gonna be early, and everybody's trying to get ready. I know you guys are doing the same, and most of the fleet is really gearing up, so much to the point where if that maintenance was already done, I don't think it would surprise anybody that there would be yellowtail at the Coronado Islands or somewhere down the coast. Or
yeah, Taro had the Colonette trip a couple weeks ago, and he saw a little bit of sign, and last year there wasn't much sign of yellowtail at Colonette, so it's good fishing down in San Quintin.
Okay.
So we're gonna be ready.
Yeah, I like it. So what's going on with the Bell this year? You said you were doing you're doing engine things. Is there other things that we're gonna notice? I mean, I know that you guys did a really good job in the off season last year doing some more of the cosmetic side that we see as passengers. But what's on the list, and what are we gonna expect when and when do you think she's gonna be up and running?
Goal is we're gonna be ready March 1st.
Okay.
No, that's
go time.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to do maintenance and not totally destroy the boat like we did last year.
Okay.
Where we just like
You got it.
Yeah, we gutted. And so new windows in the galley. Galley's hot, so I added a few sliders just to let some more ventilation through. Engines, plumbing, pumps, kind of the bones of it more than the cosmetic.
And those are the things that keep you running every week, and you don't have, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you deal with it now, or you really pay the price later, I'm sure.
Yeah, you lose a trip in August or something. It's tough, on the business owner side. And just being able to not rush anything. And, I did a lot of ordering, and the galley's wedged with everything we're going to need to start boat work. So once we start, it's all there and we're not waiting.
That's awesome. So how did the first successful year go? I mean, how was it feeling? You put a ton of work into it. The boat, from the outside looking in, it sure looked great. I mean, the boat ran and you guys were really on the fish, and it for all of us that were cheering you on, it felt like it was a good one. But how was your feeling of the first season under your belt with the boat go?
It was good. Okay. It was, success for sure. Learning curve on a lot of things, not so much fishing, because luckily I've been an operator, and we're always learning, but the business end and keeping the galley supplies and this bill paid, and it's a lot of work. But with Starlink, it's nice on the way out. You get an hour to kind of do administrative work. You're
right though. What a change that is.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like before, as soon as you pass the Whistler buoy, that was it.
It's over. Yeah.
And now it just switches over, and
you're almost spoiled. You didn't have to go through the hard times when you didn't have that.
No, I mean, I remember writing my time down on the sat phone on the American Angler, $3 a minute, you know. Hey, babe, I love you. I'll call you later. Bye. But it was good. You know, I liked the boat. The boat fishes so well. And that was
so good.
Kind of what everyone who had driven it before or owned it before me, they're like, you're going to like it. You're going to like it. And you do. It is sweet, man. It fishes really big on the anchor. It's wide and comfy and plenty of bait and fish hold. And Steve did a really good job setting that thing up. Cool. So
what is it about that boat that makes you and all those people like it? I mean, and give us a little rundown of what she's like for those that haven't had a chance to come fish with you.
For the operator side, it stops on a dime.
Okay.
You know, you pull the Vagabond out of gear,
which you drove for a lot of years.
And you'd see a spall yellowtail, no, that we're running, and you'd stop and the boat's still doing 3 knots. That Mission Bell, it's just like, and you're stopped and you're not dragging them over. You were with them.
Okay.
And it just handles well. You know, you can zig and zag, and there's a lot of zigging and zagging through traffic at the Coronado Islands. And
she's like a sports car.
It is.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can almost turn too hard.
Okay.
Throw bait and you come hard over. Or the Vagabond, now we're coming around.
Yeah.
Or this thing, it's like, whoa, too tight.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And she's so just low to the water. I mean, from the fishing side, I love fishing on that boat. I grew up fishing on that boat with all the great operators that have come before you and you as well. And it's such a great boat on the passenger side to be on. It's low. It's very comfortable. There's tons of room for all your gear. There's room for everybody to be. It's a perfect boat. I was so glad when you made that call to get her.
Yeah, it's steel hull, so it's heavy down low, but the house is plywood glass, so it's light. So when you're drifting, it drifts really well. You're not rolling around too bad, and it's comfortable for a 65 by 20 footer.
That's awesome. All open party at a Point Loma Sport Fishing. Do you do the charter side of thing? We've been talking with so many guys. Charters are. This is the time of year that people try to get in. How does that shake out on the Mission Bell?
Yeah, so we kind of we ended up almost all of August being fully chartered.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great company day outing.
Yeah,
we have a lot
Perfect.
Some groups are 15 guys. We've had charters as low as 7 guys, up to 30.
7 guys on your boat?
Yeah,
we had a private charter.
Yeah,
that's so
I want to get on that trip.
Yeah, they were
you won't even see me. I'll be up on the bow. They'll all be on the stern. I mean,
yeah, it's almost boring. The crew outnumbers the pass. It was cool, but yeah, we do charters, mostly open party. Charter books are open now, and
that's literally just a matter of calling the landing and hey man, I got my company. I want to do a fun company trip. I got 20 guys that I want to get together, and you it's just a matter of calling and making it happen. Do they do that through you directly, or is it a Point Loma Sport Fishing?
So you can call the landing, or you can call me direct.
Okay.
I handle a lot of the charters and kind of feel people out if they want, offshore islands. I really try to encourage the charter groups to have all have passports.
I'll bet,
because it's just game time decision that way.
Totally.
If offshore is really good the day before your trip and we're scheduled to go to the islands, we just go off. We can do whatever we need to in the morning. And I get it. It's tough to get everyone to have passports, or there's the one guy, or maybe the boss doesn't have it, but we encourage all charters to have passports.
I hope if you take anything away from today's show, if you're listening right now and you hear this, do it right now. You do it right now, you're missing nothing.
Yeah.
And if you turn around and Cameron's got that boat fired up and March 1st comes around and there's great yellowtail fish on the islands and you don't have it, you can't go. And it's such an easy thing to do. It's going to take the cost of one trip out of it, and you're going to be good for the next 10 years.
I can't even imagine not having it. And if you get it, get the card too. Don't just get your booklet. Get your card too, because you can go up and down Mexico with your card as long as you're not flying.
And you keep it, with the card, you keep it in the wallet.
Exactly.
Totally.
You don't have to worry about carrying the extra piece of whatever in your pocket.
That was a big thing. It's like, oh, we're getting ready to leave, and they call me to the office. I come up. It's like, hey, I don't have my passport. My wife can send me a picture, and it's like, as much as I want to do it,
totally,
yeah,
it is out of your hands.
That's correct.
We do get checked by the Mexican Navy, and it's a great relationship.
Right.
To Ken Frank, we got boarded twice this year, and it's a no big deal.
Yeah.
my Spanish is not good enough to justify a pitcher to hand him the book.
Yeah. Nor is it allowed on their end either.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even stand a fighting chance. Is what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's it. So get it. Just get it. It's not tough. We're one of the few places in San Diego. There is an issuing agency in San Diego. You can go to the place that prints them and have one done in a couple of weeks. It's an easy,
and it's 10 years.
Easy deal. Yeah, it's 10 years. You got to have it. You got to have it to fish Coronado Islands. And the way the fishing has been at those islands so close to our house, man, you'd be crazy not to have it. What a couple of years these islands have had.
Yeah.
And even if you if you decide to graduate from a half or 3/4 day all the way up to overnight trips or longer, you're going to need it.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life. So just get it.
Part of the deal for sure. Well, speaking at Coronado Islands, how did the season go last year? And I'm sure everybody's anticipating this. So like you said, everybody's kind of in their maintenance time, so there's not been a lot of checks as of late. But what was the kind of rundown of last year at the islands, and when are we hoping this sucker going to get going?
We never had the big volume of yellowtail come in. I mean, we were just waiting and waiting, and it never showed up. We had middle of July, we had a couple weeks where there was some schools around of different fish, 10, 15 pounders. But from the first trip we ran to the last trip we ran at the island, I don't know how many, there's 7 or 8 or 10 of these schools. They're not giant schools, but of these big ones.
Okay.
They're like these 20 to 30 pounders.
That's so cool.
And they clean house.
I bet they do.
And they are like truly local. They are hard to catch. They're sneaky.
Okay.
They know exactly what it feels like when the sonar starts hitting them. And there was just days like we had a trip with Dwayne and the Wounded Warriors where they kind of let their guard down. We kind of had them figured out a little bit. And we had 125. We had limits of these giant rods.
No way.
It was just like every time we anchored, it was like they'd just attack, and rent rods and going crazy.
That's so rad.
We had shots of bluefin. They were around. But it was just, there's good calico bass. It was probably the best bottom fishing. When I ran the San Diego, it was pretty hard to kind of round out whitefish and sculpin, and you really had to work at it, make sure you were anchored perfectly. Any place we anchored in hard bottom, whether it was the rock pile or middle grounds, you could drop down and knock out a limit of whitefish or sculpin. So cool. Like the bottom. And I remember asking Booger, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And he agreed. It was just some of the best bottom fishing.
That's so cool. The switch was just on.
It was just on.
You wanted to eat.
You'd see someone kind of get frustrated yellowtail fishing and, hey, why don't you just drop down to the bottom, tie a sinker on, and it was just like, before you know it, there's just big old whitefish flying over the rail. That's and so bites rad. And, everyone gets to take something home. And
yellowtail of that grade too, or just there's something. And the only reason the way you said it sparked a thing. We had a gentleman come in the shop a couple of days ago, and he was on one of the last, multi-day long range trips that went down the coast on one of the long range boats. And he was talking about, we were catching yellowtail, and they were really nice ones. They're like 25 to 30 pounds, but I need new tackle. They were kicking my butt, man. I was really getting my butt kicked, and I just need something better. And I told him, like, man, they don't make fishing tackle that you don't get your butt kicked on a 30-pound yellowtail. It's a 30-pound yellowtail. Like it doesn't matter what's in your hand. Like they're supposed to do that. Like exactly. They don't make tackle where those things just come right in.
No.
That's a real deal.
They were real deal.
Yeah. That's a trophy no matter where you catch it and what you do. I mean, you start talking 20-pound yellowtail, like it doesn't matter what's in your hand. Like you gotta fight on your hands.
Pound for pound, it's a great fight.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, what a fun place and what a great time. And I just, again, I'm so glad that you got that boat and that run, because that is a true joy in sport fishing. Like getting to hop on the Mission Belle and doing a full day trip and going to the Coronado Islands or going offshore, wherever you are. It's really, really fun fishing. And the brand that the Mission Belle is really putting together is just right. You're a very friendly boat. It's easy to be. There's no big attitudes. You guys do such a good job on the passenger level, and we love it, man. We're really pumped.
We really wanted it to be, or my wife and I. If you went on the Mission Belle, you knew exactly what you were going to get. If you fished on the Vagabond or American Angler the service is there, the friendliness, the crew members are polite. We really wanted it just to be like you could take your grandkids or your kid and know that they're going to have a good time.
That's it, man. When you've got a friend from out of town and you book a spot on that boat, you know that everything, whether the whether you hit it on the day that the fishing's wide open 30 pounders or you're working for everyone, that you don't get to decide, but everything else, is going to be done right.
That's the goal.
We love it, man. Well, we're going to have a great time today. So much stuff to cover. And, you want to talk about a guy that's got a lifetime of doing this with Captain Cameron. It's going to be a lot of fun today, Wayne.
Absolutely. Boy, it's just the questions are coming in. The phones are booked up. And if you want to join us, don't forget to call in 833-288-0973. And we also do not forget the texting. We have the Let's Talk Hookup app. You can go to the Play Store and download it for Android or iPhones. And that's the only place you can go get that texting feature. Download it and then make sure when you text into the show, you leave your name and your phone number, because at the end of the show, Captain Cameron's going to flip a coin and one lucky caller is going to get a full day trip on the Mission Bell out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. Wow, what a great thing that's going to be. Hey, and when we come back, we'll be having more of Captain Cameron. We'll be taking your texts, your phone calls, and we'll get more catch reports. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It may be winter in Southern California, but those of us who live here know it's a great time of year to go fishing, and certainly not time to put your gear away. This is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. This is the ideal time for bay bass fishing, and I get the inside scoop from Johnny. Heck, he will even rent you one of our killer blue skiffs. This is also a good time to go work on your reels, and Doug is the man for that job. If big largemouth bass are your bag, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. They have all the right stuff and live bait for a perfect day on the lake. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is super cool too, for both freshwater and saltwater tackle. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is on Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance to staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
When you're pursuing big game fish, the right gear is essential. Not just the rod, reel, and line, but the right pair of binoculars too. So upgrade your gear to the best pair of Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and more importantly, they service all brands right there at their San Diego Shelter Island location. Need the best? Fujinon Stabiscopes are the professional's choice. Looking for top-tier stabilization at a great price? The Fujinon Technostabi TSX 1440s deliver rock-steady vision, even in rough waters, perfect for serious anglers. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they'll be there when your binoculars need service. Plus, they'll give you a great price on all in-stock Fujinon binoculars. Stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and test a pair of Fujinon binoculars and see which ones are right for you. They even have compact and lightweight Fujinon stabilized binoculars for your next vacation or hunting trip. You know you need a pair of stabilized binoculars, so get them from the experts at Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up. And they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River and your boat is just steps away from your room makes it great. Do yourself a favor. Call Charmel at 1-800-330-0326 or go online, katmai.com. And like Pete says, they will hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Boy, we're going to have a great show with Captain Cameron from the Mission Bell. Texts are flying in. The phones are going. Boy, and what the stories at the break that we tell. It's only 2 hours, but we can't get everything on the air, unfortunately. Boy, is it fun, though.
you were kind of giving us a little bit of rundown of what was happening up there in Sacramento in terms of the CCA things. It was good. I mean, would you call it a good trip? We in good standings? How did things go? I know that you're retired, but somehow you still seem to not be retired whatsoever. You're literally driving, going to the Capitol to meet with people. How did things go? How are your feelings on what the stance was?
It's extremely successful. What we do is all about networking relationships. It's how do you work with people to find solutions. You're never always going to get everybody to agree, but you're trying to find the middle ground that says, we're not the enemy. I always say it, right? We are for responsible and sustainable outdoor recreation, period. We're not against consumptive things. We're not against environmental programs because it helps the resources. We want to protect those resources. So I push CalTIP, right? Because if we take the poachers off, then all of our regulations and laws and stuff to help our resources will be in the right area. But the poachers are hurting our efforts. So that's why there's certain areas that we're pushing. It was good to go up there because we're talking to freshman legislators. We're talking about the new bills that are coming down, that we're introducing ourselves to people that don't know anything about us. There's the Sportsman Show up in Sacramento started on Thursday. It goes through this weekend. All those legislators that we talked to up there didn't even know it was there. Now, how bad is that? Yeah. We're not doing a good enough job. And I made sure to talk about all of our shows for the whole California coast because they go from Northern California all the way to San Diego throughout the first quarter, and we need them there. We need to get them involved in our industry to support us because it is something that everybody should be having fun with. We learned it from COVID. We couldn't wait to get back out in the water, outdoors, and that's why I push it so hard. But it was very successful. We went and talked to Fish and Game Commission staff, Fish and Game Commissioners, Department of Fish and Wildlife, as well as the legislators. But the show, fun to see our friends. Awesome. Always fun to see our friends up there. Carl and Katie are there for the landing and the Intrepid. So, we see each other up and down through the show circuit. It's pretty fun.
People are coming to the Fisherman's Landing Booth to see Brian, who is like our main guy behind the counter Fisherman's Landing. Nobody's there to see Carl. I mean, let's be clear about that. Like the crew is coming to the landing booth to see Brian. I mean, he's the brains behind the operation. He's the reason that it works. I mean, maybe some people are there to get an autograph from Carl from his YouTube series, his little rundown of what's happening through the week. That exists, I'm sure, but people are there to see Brian. Let's call it exactly what it is.
You the man.
It's fun.
I know we hear Wayne and Ken Frankie and these guys talk about all the meetings and stuff. And as kind of the dumb fisherman side and attending these meetings and going to Sacramento the last year and stuff, what these guys do and relationships they've built with these higher ups, it's incredible. I mean, these guys walk in like rock stars. That's awesome. The first one I walked in, it was like, I was nervous and kind of didn't know and these guys are professionals. And the fact that they go to bat for us we're lucky.
No doubt about that, man. You said it best. And it is one of the things that made me so proud that you took on that same hat and just, it wasn't something that you were paid for, and it's not something that you did to get the attaboys. You have taken time out of your schedule to attend meetings, whether it be, on the emissions side or fishing side or whatever it might be, just because it was good for you and for your business and for your family, but also for us and my family and fishing. And, you took a lot of unpaid time to go put your hat in that ring of those guys that have our back up there. And I want to personally thank you for it. And we're sure proud that you out there doing it.
Yeah. It's, these commissioners and all the higher ups, they're busy and they have other jobs too. And it's kind of educating them from my perspective that we just like the outdoors.
Yeah. They're volunteers.
They don't
get paid to do that.
And, they have kids and families and all the things that, keep us so busy. But for me, it's just kind of educating them on like this. We're a small family fishing business.
Yeah.
We commercial fish, we take people fishing, and interacting with them. So when these decisions do come, how does this affect Wayne? Or,
totally.
Maybe
we couldn't do this, man. That hurt Cameron and his family. Like we can't,
And so it's important.
No, totally. And I know nothing about the process that you were through, but I just love the idea that you're just a real regular person that's up there. You're not a career politician,
no.
That's trying to make this decision based on other people's interests. It's like, man, I'm just a real person having a great time, want to keep this thing going.
And we need that. We absolutely need.
I
that
went
up
and
there.
spoke on a panel for Samantha Murray, who's a commissioner, and it was UCSD, and the first thing I said on this panel is like, this is more time than I've spent in a college classroom in my entire life, and it's real.
Yeah.
Me and Tara, it's like we went to college on the University of American Angler. That's where I went to school.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, I think just being real and who we are, and
That's awesome.
it helps.
Well, we're excited, man, for sure. Well, it's going to be a very fun show. We're excited. The phones are absolutely packed. Everybody's excited to talk to Cameron. Just like Wayne said, man, if you want to join us this morning, 833-288-0973 is how you do it. Not only is it your chance to talk to Cameron, but also we are giving away a full-day trip on board the Mission Belle at a Point Loma Sport Fishing. Wayne, let's jump into those phones.
Yeah, we can take John from San Diego.
Morning, John.
Good morning, guys. A question for Cameron and a question for Wayne. Cameron, do all species of fish react to the sonar waves that your transducer sends out? And Wayne, what's the biggest hurdle to creating more artificial reefs off California?
A couple of great questions.
I don't think all species react to it. I think it's maybe not so much the sonar at the frequencies hitting them or something, but maybe it's the boat, or we've driven over that school and they hear the rumbling and they kind of know and they get skittish. And then there's days where we, get a school on the machines and they want to fight us. Bring it on, and they're jumping all around and they're excited. So I think it's more of just like maybe a school we've already messed with and already stopped and tried to trick them with the bait, and they're kind of like, nice try. But they all act different for sure.
And day to day different. And is it the type of thing where, when you first get on scene at the islands and you first slow down, you first put the sonar, is there a thing that happens where you're like, oh man, we're gonna get them today? The conditions are this such that today's the day it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and you see it with maybe the first school that you hit.
Okay.
It's like it kind of lets you work with it and chase it to kind of line it up perfectly, and then maybe the third time you hit it, you get like one sweep and you're like, oh, there they are. And before you could even sweep back, they're gone.
Okay.
But yeah, there's days where it's easy to be the captain.
I love it.
I like those days.
I want to go on those days. Yeah. Sign me up for those ones.
Same.
So the second part of his question is, what do we run into for artificial reefs? Government bureaucracy, 100%. We are ready and want to do artificial reefs in California. We have for the last 11 years, 10 years with CCA California, and we can't get the bureaucracy out of the way. And it's so unfortunate because there's so much opportunity out there. CCA, national, all the other different states, we're like the number one group building reefs across the country, except California.
Okay.
Because we just can't get out of the bureaucracy. We're trying. There's going to be efforts going forward. We have Luke Burson up in Orange County is running the artificial reef program for us, and he's working on some things with us right now.
What is the biggest adversary to it, or is it just a combination of everybody? I mean, is it one group that says it's a polluting thing? Is it one, or like what's the?
If you want my honest answer, I think they're holding out from building reefs because what's happening on the water, it's being divvied up.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these other things that are going to happen on the water. You have 30 by 30, the MPAs in the state waters. You have what's going on with the oil derricks offshore. You have aquaculture coming in. You have fishing lanes. You have traffic lanes. All these things are being divvied up. And now because of GPS, we can lease the space on the water. We've already sold all the land. Now they're looking at it from the water side. So I think they're holding off on wanting to do more reefs because they don't want to take space that they could use it for something else.
Gotcha.
That's my feeling.
Yeah. Not official, but that's what
yeah, it's just because I'm looking forward, and you look at what's happening with MPAs and the 30 by 30, and they're not sure where that's going to end up yet. And then you start looking at aquaculture on top of that, and that's already taking space. Where do you put the reef now?
I gotcha.
Right?
How much knowledge is that?
Yeah.
To what me and you just walk on a boat and go fishing.
That's it.
And
Totally.
then the behind the scenes.
That's what's really happening.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, hey, appreciate it, John, very much. Why don't we grab another one?
Yeah. Hey, Arnie in Vista.
What's up, Arnie?
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing today?
Awesome.
Morning,
Got
Arnie.
a couple questions. I got a couple of things to say. Wayne, again, thank you so much for your decade of hard work, and you keep doing it. And One question I have is, as an average angler, I know this thing. One of the things we're worried about is what potentially may happen to the Point Loma kelp, about the expansion of the MPA. What can the average angler do? Of course, joining CCA is important, but what else can they do to help give our voice out there about that? And Cameron, hey buddy, I tell you what, you have a wonderful boat. Your captain Todd took us out on our big fish charter last October, and man, we slayed it. It was great. The weather was beautiful. Your boat's awesome. You got a great crew, buddy. It was an awesome time out there. And what's plans for the Mission Bell this year? Got anything coming? Got anything new we're doing?
I think we're gonna just kind of repeat the course. I think we're just gonna, do what we do, and having Todd's awesome, and Steve P obviously running the boat a little bit, gives me some days off, but we're just gonna try to keep getting better.
That's awesome.
Build a better core and crew and systems. And
So, Arnie, your other part of your question is asking what's going to happen with the Point Loma kelp. Cameron's brand new to this whole process, and he's been engaged in it. Let's see where his answer is for the Point Loma kelp petition.
What is it? May 15th is the Point Loma meeting?
Yeah, there's 3 meetings coming up, right? And they're going to be
they're petition specific,
right? They're geography specific. Yeah. So you've got one up in Northern California, one in Santa Barbara, and the other one is going to be Southern. And they moved it from Oceanside to San Clemente. I just heard that this week. Yeah.
More travel.
Yeah. Another 40 minutes of the coast.
Yeah. Better in Sacramento. Yeah. I think for the fishermen, I think, attending them's obviously good. If attending and, volunteering to speak at the podium, respectful and kind.
Yeah. You've said that multiple times. I know that's something you made a point of saying every time you've been on here, what a big deal that is.
And it just, we just shoot ourselves in the foot. And, I was kind of, those letters, why send a letter? And they don't read the letters. And a couple meetings I've been to, it's like, oh, we read that. And they do. They read the letter.
Every letter.
And it's impressive.
That's cool.
So, a well-written letter.
So he's right. It's May 19th. It'll be someplace in San Clemente. They moved it from Oceanside up because of what they're trying to figure out is how to separate the geography of the petitions. So they're going to do that. So put it on your calendar because we need people to show up and give public testimony on why certain things shouldn't happen, like this expansion. And let me explain it. When we started this process of petitions, this is an assessment of the current network. That's all this was supposed to be for. The very first thing that they promised us was no wholesale changes to the network, just assessments and adjustments to the current network. The petition for Point Loma expansion or Laguna Hills expansion or the other ones should have been denied outright. And that we're going to hold them to that, where we're trying to hold them to that, because that is not part of this process. Mm-hmm. So that's what you should be talking about. That's the testimony. Don't get upset. Don't yell. Don't scream. Just state the facts. You told us this was the rule.
Yeah. How are you, how are you wanting to expand when you don't know what your current thing has done or not done on the positive or negative? There's no reason to just grab more if you don't know what the first thing has done in the first place.
Right.
And our kelp bed is thriving.
Right.
It is. Beautiful.
What did we tell them?
Timing.
It would come back as soon as the warm water went away and we started getting the cold water and the upwelling and the storms that we've been kind of bitching about because we can't get on the water. But those are what we needed.
Yeah. And we haven't had, a big part of it's been these big like New Year's swells. Mm-hmm. The last couple of years, I've had to chase a lot of lobster traps around the ocean and we haven't had it this year. We've had swells and storms, our kelp bed south of the pipe right now, which is, a big part of this petition is kelp. There's 3 in this season since October, 3 or 4 boats I've had to tow out, random skiffs that drive in and outboards overheating and inboards and stuff.
Wow.
It is as long I've been fishing lobster 13 years now. It's the thickest I've seen it.
It's not the type of thing where you could just point some direction and push the throttle up a little bit. You're going to be fine no matter what. Like
you see
know where you're
you
at.
See the boat coming through and it's like, ooh, not a good choice. And then white steam,
It is amazing how fast that kelp bed can take care of itself if it's given a little bit of time and more than anything, just the right condition.
It's 2014, there wasn't a stitch of kelp.
Right.
There was wahoo on, outside the Whistler buoy. And now it's
And you can't drive a boat through
point to pier. There's full kelp.
That's awesome.
It can grow a foot a day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's good because we saw it starting to grow back up in Northern California and out Channel Islands and stuff. And you can start seeing it coming down. And then when we were down in Coronado Island, Cedros, you saw Cedros kelp bed come back really good. I mean, that canopy was golden. It was beautiful this last year.
Love to hear it, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we got a special guy on the line. Captain Frank Lopresti's calling us this morning. Frank, good morning.
Morning, Frank.
Well, good morning. What a beautiful day, huh?
Oh,
man.
gorgeous outside.
Sign us up for more of this, buddy.
Yeah, you better believe it. Hey, I just want to give a real big shout out to Wayne. Wayne, we so appreciate what you do for our industry.
Oh,
Between
thanks,
you
Frank.
and I mean, it is so important. And so many of us don't know what to do. And we count on your help, and you're always there. I also want to give a shout out, I believe, to one of your assistants, Tony. She's got CCA in her heart, and she works her butt off for you. Just thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we had Chris and Tony up in Sacramento, and we're introducing Tony around because she's going to take on more of the hatchery program and a lot of the government relations stuff. She's going to be the face of CCA up in Sacramento and with the Fish and Game Commission department and all the other programs that we're working on. So we're getting her introduced and starting the networking of her, and she's stepping up. She's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the next generation right
Well,
there.
again,
yeah.
Again, Wayne, just the whole fleet thanks you and appreciates you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Frank.
Well
Appreciate
said, Frank.
that.
That's awesome. And I know been a lot going on, Frank. We kind of talked about it this morning. It's been fun to watch the new C4 still having great fishing on the Bonita. There's still local fishing going on. Long range fishing been happening. It's been a fun. Once we kick that wind and rain out of here, it's sure been fun. It feels like summertime when you're down here in January, and it's a unique time if you come down to Fisherman's Landing. It seems like just about every boat that's in, wrenches and paintbrushes are flying on everybody. You can tell the fleet's really gearing up for what we feel might be an early start this year.
You know, there's another thing. I'm constantly working hard. The searcher is going to be in beautiful shape. Those guys have been working their butts off. My hat's off to Dave on the Tomahawk.
Yeah.
That boat is just looking beautiful. It's ready to go. He's a hard-working guy. The Pegasus is coming along great. They're working hard on the Shogun, making a lot of improvements. Things are just really rolling along really, really well. So it's just, the guys are going to be ready early this year, that's for sure.
We think it's going to be a good one, Frank. Well, we really appreciate you calling. Thanks for the check and the kind words to Wayne. Couldn't agree with you more. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. We'll look forward to hearing from you with a solid fish report. One of the guys kicking some butt here real soon.
Well, RP gets in tomorrow, so we'll see what we have to report. Take care.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Frank.
that very much.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we had a great text come through and a lot of great phone calls. It's just been a very busy morning. Lots going on, and we got a lot of fun show ahead for you.
Boy, do we. Man, we got all these texts lining up. We got to go and scramble and read them all while we're doing the show. And we got all these phone calls coming in. But hey, you need to call in too. 833-288-0973. And don't forget, we got one lucky caller or texter is going to win a full day trip on the Mission Belle with Cameron. Boy, is this going to be fun. We got more coming up. And hey, keep listening on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
3 kayaks, 6 surfboards, 10 rods, and 1 truck bound for Baja. That's where my brother and I's most recent quest into the Baja Peninsula began, in search of waves, fish, and fun. We are able to transport all the kayaks, rods, and boards without straps due to the easy transportation of the Hobie iTrack inflatable kayaks. We brought a tandem and 2 singles, the High 9 and 11, and they were totally enough to get all 6 of the boys onto some of the best halibut and grouper fishing of their lives. Now, you might be thinking, 3 kayaks? I thought a tandem and 2 singles would only be able to fit 4 people. Well, a simple lawn chair on the back of the kayak was enough to turn the 2 single kayaks into tandems. Catching upwards of 100 fish a day in the mangroves, ranging from 15-pound grouper to tons of legal halibut, we had our fill and headed back to the States. Check out the full video of this trip on our YouTube channel, Fastlane SC, or come by our shop in Mission Bay and check out a Hobie inflatable kayak. See you soon.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, All CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers.
For local or long-range fishing, we have you covered. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Being a part of the San Diego Sport Fishing Landing gives us a distinct advantage when it comes to getting you on the latest and hottest tackle for your trip. Our expert staff knows exactly what you need for your long-range or local trip, and we will not sell you something you don't need. We carry a huge inventory of the right tackle. So visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Our hardworking crew will make your fishing experience one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. All our open party trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Hey, we got Captain Cameron from the Mission Bell in here, and boy, we have some great stories being told. One lucky caller is going to be, or texter is going to win that full day trip on the Mission Bell. Remember, 833-288-0973.
Phones are packed up. Let's jump right back in. Talk to Mike. He's calling us from Torrance this morning. What's up, Mike? Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, Cameron and Ricky and Wayne. Great show today. We're sure fortunate to have you guys in our corner fighting for our rights to fish. It's been a big part of my whole life. I did a lot of fishing with Brian back when he had the Queen in the early days. So, Cameron, you're lucky to be apprentice to him back in the day. I'm looking forward to fishing with you on the Bell. I love the Coronado Islands when the yellowtail are breezing up on them, and you're getting them on the dropper rigs and yo-yo jigs. So just give us a couple stories of you fishing with Brian growing up, if you don't mind.
Oh man, he was the best. Like long trips or at Hurricane Bank or Cedrus, or he would just look at you and grab your mask, because I like dive in and stuff, and it was like, what? He's like, jump in.
That's so cool.
And the opportunities like jumping in and letting a 150-pound yellowfin go.
So you've jumped in on the Hurricane Bank.
Oh yeah.
What is that like?
Wow. You just jump
cool.
in.
Yeah.
We were I forget where we were, but we were maybe the bank. We were idling up, and he was going to just let me swim, and they were going to troll for a while. And I was sitting on the bow, and I looked down, and we're kind of getting into the shallows, and one of those white tips, kind of swims under the bow. And I look up at him, and he goes, not today. But he was always the best at giving us, and Sam, at giving us the opportunity to do as much as we wanted to.
Totally.
If we didn't have you're the engineer.
Okay.
When we'd go to the fuel dock, it was, I know how to drive a boat. Who wants to drive? And it's like, well, I'll try.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. There was no limitations of what we wanted to, try to improve or do. And we also got yelled at a lot. He said something, we were talking about, the current guys on the Angler, and we were saying something, and I was like, you're kind of getting soft.
Ooh.
I mean, between Brian and Sam, there was, I've been up against walls and engine rooms, but, just the old school fishing thing. But they just taught us work ethic, and it was, if Sam drove the boat, Brian was the deckhand, and we had a rotation of who cleaned heads. And, if it was Brian's day, it was like, the worst was if Brian went after you.
Okay.
Because, you had to do the big final clean, make sure. And then if the boss came in behind you and there were scales on the floor, he was on his hands and knees. And they just taught us that, just because you're the captain, you work the hardest and you get the least amount of sleep.
Lead by example.
100%.
Yeah, if you're the guy that's writing the checks, but you're still taking your rotations and cleaning the heads, then nobody else can. There's not a lot of room for somebody else to bitch about, working too hard.
No, I mean, you still see him down there, unloading fish, and it's impressive.
That's cool. One of my favorites. I remember working in the tackle store a long time ago, and it was after I think Sam had a big surgery, surgery on his back, and he had not been on the boat for a while. And he came back into the shop, and he did one of those. Whew, man, I'm like, what's going on? He goes, oh man, I really unloaded on those guys. He goes, I just haven't yelled at anybody in a long time. And he jokingly was like, there was like a fender ball or something that was out of place or not pulled up. And he goes, man, I gave somebody, 2 months worth of pent up, I felt good, man. Felt good to get that out of my system.
Yeah, it was a 7-day. And he did.
I remember he had to take a breath. He said he yelled so good at his boys.
I shared a room with, I was in the 2-man room the whole time I was on there. And well, bam, the door would just come flying open and rattle on the magnet. And it's like, I had just gone to sleep. It was last while, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, Sam? You need to get up. And it's just like, oh, okay. So I go downstairs and get my cup of coffee. And I'm like, where's, Andrew, who owns Pacifica, he was up, and I go up to the bow. And poor Andrew's got his cup of coffee, and we're getting ready to anchor, and he's up against the house. I go, dude, what's going on here? And he goes, I've already gotten it 3 times today. The sun's not even up. And it was like, I go, you can go hide. I got this.
It's my turn. I'll take it. I'll put the jacket on.
Yeah.
I love that. I got it 3 times. The sun's not up yet. That's fun. Well, the phones are packed, Wayne. Let's sneak another in there while we're still joining our good friends on the fan.
Awesome. Let's take Robert in Canyon Country.
What's up, Robert? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. Awesome. So I heard the captain saying that he has some experience with lobster. It's really hard to get any insight on lobster. If the fishing isn't complicated enough, then add the lobster to it. So moon phases, tides, any information. It's really hard to get any information on lobstering.
I think with tide, hoop netting's different. Our traps are so heavy that they don't wobble in tidal movement. I think if you're hoop netting, you really got to be light tide, slack a tide. And I always tell people, fish where we can't. You see guys hoop netting out, in Point Loma and stuff like that. I dream that I could set a trap in the bay.
Exactly. We can fish where you can't.
Yeah. And moon phases, there's times where it's the full moon and it's so bright that the sheephead are activated and there's different things. Then there's times you go out on a full moon and it's really good. Fresh bait is a big thing. That rotten stinky is not like the lobster answer.
I think that thing that you just said is probably the single best piece of advice. Fresh bait and a hoop net is it's not beatable.
It's not.
And think about it this way. What the bait is doing in the water out of that cage or the tube is putting out a scent trail. Those antennas go up, they smell it, they're going to go to it. They're going to go up that trail to find it. So you got to look at which way is that tide going so you know where to set your trap. And then sometimes they're in the shallow, sometimes they're in the deep. If it's raining, they stay away from brackish water, the runoff. So don't go next to something shallow water runoff because they're going to be moving away from that. And then certain times of year, they head towards the deeper water in the season. And so you're going to be wanting to go away from the break wall and probably closer to the channel. It's just, those are certain basics.
And I think soak time, I think when they're walking and it's fast paced, I think you can, pull your nets every 30 minutes. And maybe if it's a slower night and it's scratch fishing, or maybe you're only catching a couple big ones or something, maybe let 2 of your 10 or however many you fish sit for an hour and a half. I don't,
Good point. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't have to be, you don't have to do every single thing every time. You can let a couple sit and prospect around a little bit. And the new school lights and floats and things have changed so much. You can have all your lights on. And if you just decide that you're going to let 2, you're going to pull your 10 nets down, and you want to just run through your gear as fast as you can, do that with 8 of them and turn your 2 lights to blinkers and the other one straight. And you'll let those ones sit an hour and see if that makes a difference or if it makes no difference. And
I think that's a good call. We have places that fish where, I could pull a trap on an overnight soak and you wouldn't even think there's a lobster around where I put my trap. And then I let it sit for 2 or 3 days and all of a sudden there's color in the trap or lobster. Kidding. Yeah. There's a lot of, everyone's like, oh, do you pull all 300 every day? And it's like, no, you play the game. This gear gets pulled.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought
as soon as it's daylight after one night, because the predators are so bad. And this one, I max out the soak time allotment on.
Sure. Now, what is the amount of time that you think, when is something too much? And is it too much just because they don't do good, or your bait doesn't fish, or predator? What is too much time, and vice versa.
Yeah, it's hard. It's just it's so location.
Not black or white enough.
Yeah, hard bottom where there's a lot of fish and active. 3 or 4 days you pull the trap and all the bait's gone, and there's not a single lobster in there.
Got it.
Where if you would have pulled it, on the first or second night, there's 2 or 3 legals and 20 shorts.
And when you say there's predators around, is that there's fish that are they'll just swim into your traps and harass the lobsters?
They'll swim in. There's octopus. It's all of it.
There it is.
Wow, as you can hear, boy, we're coming up. That first hour goes so quick. And hey, if you want to join in, don't forget, call in 833-288-0973. That first hour. Hey, thanks to Kyle on the Fan for keeping us on. The second hour will be on YouTube and Facebook Live. And our Let's Talk Hookup app. We'll be right back.
For the most exciting sports show of the year, the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Tackle, Boat, and Travel Show, presented by Geico. Now 2 great dates and locations. First, the giant 16th Annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show, March 5th through the 8th at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa. Then, the first annual Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show, San Diego, March 19th to the 22nd at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Check out hundreds of sport fishing exhibitors, manufacturers, tackle dealers, fishing boats, and fishing resorts, taking up the huge fairgrounds at both locations, plus fantastic seminars and free kids trout pond. Seminars featuring some of the top names in the industry, from catching giant bluefin, swordfish, calico bass, freshwater bass, trout, and more. Take advantage of incredible show specials from major tackle retailers and boat dealers. Talk to the top fishing travel destinations. Thursday, March 5th to Sunday, March 8th at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa, and in San Diego, March 19th to the 22nd at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Presented by Geico. Check sportfishingfestival.com.
Rock Cod Rick here to tell you about Parker Boats and the guys at West Coast Marine. By now, you all know my boat partner and I bought a new 25 Parker center console from crew at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. We've known for a long time that a Parker was the boat for us. It's a stout workhorse of a boat built to last and get you home when the seas get rough. Parker Boats at the launch ramp, the offshore tuna grounds. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip and there they are. Parker Boats of all sizes, fishing in the same areas as the sporties. There's a good reason for it: fishability and seaworthiness. West Coast Marine has several new Parkers in stock and ready for delivery, and they have more on the way. Don't get caught without a reliable boat when fishing is this good. Take it from me, if you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see West Coast Marine. Check out the inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing: need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Sport fishing, not just for dad anymore, thanks to the Dana Wharf's Kids Club. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing invites all anglers 12 and under to join the Kids Club today. Membership includes over $100 of really cool stuff, like 2 free fishing trips, whale watch trip, as well as a free Dana Wharf Kids Club hat or t-shirt. Log on to the website, danawharf.com, or visit them in Dana Point Harbor, the bass capital of the West, and only minutes from the 5 freeway in Orange County.
Are you ready for reliability? Then you're ready for a Yamaha outboard. And there's no better time to jump on board than during our Ready for Reliability sales event. From now until March 31st, 2026, eligible new Yamaha 30 to 450 horsepower outboards get 2 additional years of warranty protection for a total of up to 7 years of warranty coverage. Plus, Yamaha 2.5 to 25 horsepower outboards come with up to $200 in dealer credit. Get ready to enjoy Yamaha reliability with a new outboard today. Visit your local Yamaha dealer for details. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offer ends March 31st, 2026. Subject to change. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models excluded. 24-month Yamaha extended service added to 36 or 60-month factory limited warranty. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealers for details. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice, Let's Talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live. 97.3 The Fan had a great show for that first hour. We signed off with those guys, but really stoked to have you here on the app as well as the fan. As well as the app and all the social media accounts. Having a great time here this morning. Captain Cameron from the Mission Bell at a Point Loma Sport Fishing joining us this morning. We're having fun, man, talking fishing and talking to you. If you want to join us on the second hour, Wayne, it's all about the text.
Yes, it is. Download that text on the App Store, and don't forget, you got to leave your name and your phone number if you want to be part of the raffle. We're giving away one lucky caller or text. Full day trip on the Mission Bell with Captain Cameron, and you want to join us there. Boy, we got a good a ton of texts coming in. Here's one from Captain Cameron, Ricky Wayne. My question is for Captain Cameron. Occasionally, a greenback mackerel or two will find its way into the bait tank on the boat. Is there a special time where you recommend pinning one of those on, and when you're finding fishing yellows at the Coronado Islands? That's from Ralph and Menifee.
I'm a believer in try it. You know, obviously bait was not, we had bait every trip this year. It may not have been sardine or it was anchovy or not enough sardine, but try it. It takes 30 seconds to try it. Hook a mackerel, cast it out. If it swims away and you feel like you're going to get a bite, great. If it doesn't and it swims back under the boat, hook on a sardine.
I love that. Yeah. What is it hurting you to put that thing out?
Yeah.
And if it connects, you're stoked. If it doesn't, you just go right back to doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's try.
I love that. That's it. Well, what a good call. Well, with that said, we're going to find out what's going on the water. It is time for our catch report, our fishdope.com reporter, Captain Mark Wish, our private boater buddies on the line today. That report is sponsored by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It is the place to fill up your car, your truck, or your boat with the lowest in gas and diesel prices. Also, did you know that Summit is the place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks before your trip? Over 40 snacks for just 89 cents, as well as sandwiches, salads, frozen bait too. They have ice at nearly half the price of the others for only $3.99 for a 25-pound bag. Plus, you can get 100 pounds of ice for free with a 35-gallon fill. It's Summit Gasoline, free ice for our Let's Talk Hookup listeners, and always the lowest prices in fuel at the San Diego Sports Arena. We got him. The private boater buddy is on the line. What's up, Mark?
Morning, Mark.
Hey, Ricky, Wayne, Cameron. Great show. And you know that guy that just asked that question about those mackerels? I love fishing them mackerels. You know, you got to manage them because they definitely like to stay up underneath the boat there. They're no dummies. But, man, once you get them away from the boat, something big is going to bite them for sure. Yeah, anyway, what an incredible week of weather we've had. It's sunny, warm, at least once the sun gets up, it's warm, and flat calm offshore. And as a consequence of this beautiful weather, we got a whole bunch more guys got out and about. Everybody got motivated. A lot more reports for sure. So along the coast, the water temperatures holding up the way they have been this season. I mean, it's just awesome, and it's really kept the bass fishing pretty darn good. From Santa Monica Bay here to the Orange County South Coast area, that water is all over 60, mostly 61, 62. And it's kept them bass just all fired up, man. They're active. You know, and it's certainly not summertime fishing. Don't get me wrong here. It's definitely winter, and you got to adjust your tackle and techniques. But, you know, for that sand bass fishing on the deeper structure spots along the coast here, you know, they're hanging really close to the structure typically at this time of year. One of the best ways to fish them is squid on a lead head. I mean, that's just wintertime standby scenario. Fish them on heavy gear, guys. It's important, not because the fish are so big, but because much of the time you're fishing, you know, deep structure really close to some bad neighborhoods, and the fish are like right down in them. So you need that heavier line to keep from getting busted off. Now, in contrast, total contrast to that, check out Eric Landisfene's SoCal Bite Report on Bloody Decks. He does a report all the time. He does a great job, and he's got a video on there. Excuse me, it's the exact opposite of deep structure fishing. fishing calico bass along the Palos Verde Peninsula, fishing crankbaits in absolutely flat, calm weather here just a few days back, and just destroying the big calico bass right on the surface.
Oh,
And a whole different, yeah, it's just a whole different deal. And, you know, just the fact that they're fishing the crankbaits, you know, you guys should really take note of what they're doing there, because that technique really works. But, you know, to get that kind of fishing in January in shirt sleeve weather.
Running those crankbaits, those DTs, you just got to change the hooks out because they're freshwater baits. But you put the other hooks on, oh man, they can be killer.
Yeah,
you know, Mark,
sure.
you've said in your reports for a long time, like it doesn't take the month of January or the month of June. It takes, you know, stable conditions, and the water doesn't have to be hot. It can still be cool as long as it's not changing. And that's the one thing that, boy, we sure have had for a little bit. You know, it's been nice weather for a stretch, and I think we got a good stretch in front of us still to come.
Yeah, we got at least a week. They're hinting at showers here this time next week, maybe. The big maybe. And but in between, you know, we got much the same. You know, I was looking at the buoy reports this morning before the report, and all the buoys, with the exception of outside San Nicolas Island, which was 60, it's usually 55 at this time of year, it's 60, but everything else was 61, 62, and even 63. The buoy bulk many is 63. I mean, there's got to be a bluefin or two probably still swimming around.
I was gonna say that, Cameron, you think if there was a fleet of boats that were out looking for a bluefin tuna, one could be caught within a day or two of here?
You would, on those banks in the shallows for sure.
That's cool. Got to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So over at Catalina, you know, all this coverage helped out for sure. Got a lot of reports. And they surprisingly all mirror one another. And unfortunately, the common theme was this tough fishing. I mean, there was some very excellent crews with high technology and a lot of talent. And man, they did not come up with a whole hell of a lot. You know, there is some bait to be caught, not a lot on the back. A lot of the areas that had it, it's all dry now. Backside middle, there was some catchable fish. And in terms of the halibut and sea bass, the occasional barely legal halibut, one or two like barely legal sea bass, totally inconsequential, a few shorts here and there. Don't sit on the shorts, guys. The big ones are usually not mixed in with them. But what was really interesting is that the daytime calico bass fishing in a couple different spots was really good. And again, it's January, but you got 61, 62 degree water on the backside of Catalina at this time of year with a tank of live squid and a guy that knows how to anchor up on the spots properly. And they just walloped the calico bass. Now that's daytime fishing, and that's really kind of unusual. But there's a whole nother dimension to calico bass fishing at the island and other places, but I'm talking specifically about Catalina. And that's nighttime bass fishing. Now I know it's not for everybody. I mean, you know, you guys get out there poking around catching your squid, you think nothing of it. But to take that squid and move over to a deep structure spot, put the anchor out and fish nighttime bass in the wintertime, it's just, you know, it don't work for a lot of people. But I'm telling you what, guys, them bass nighttime on the deep structure spots, it can be really, really good. And, you know, real chilly. I mean, I fished them, we fished them one time in about this time of year on the front side in the isthmus, fishing Ship Rock there with ice forming on the guides. So,
Whoa.
But they were biting.
I'm a hard pass on that night, but it sounds like a good time nonetheless.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Now, Ricky, last week you did in your report, you did a little segue into your trip up to CalStar.
Yeah.
And that got me motivated because I was derelict in my duty to get up and see Chris and John and that new facility they have, which is absolutely fantastic. So I went up there this week and got the tour just like you did. What a great operation they got going on. Saw some new cool stuff. Saw those jigging rods that you were talking about. And John was showing me a new 9-foot 270 that they're working on and all kinds of cool stuff happening up there. What what a fantastic operation Chris and John and all the rest of the team got going up there at CalStar. It's so nice to see that coming together the way it is. Oh my God.
It's an impressive
It's awesome.
facility, man. You can sure see Chris's background in aerospace come through into the facility that he and John and that team put together. It is very special, and it just lets you know the future of those rods is in a really, really good direction.
Yeah, that's for sure. The 270 blank that I have that they gave me when they first finished them there, I've got it just about ready to come off the wrapper to go catch a sea bass over at Catalina here in another week or two. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you make sure to send us a picture when that first sea bass comes over the rail on your new rod. We'll get it up on the on the site there. Mark, a great job.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. You always spend so much time putting this report together for all of our listeners, and we sure appreciate everything you do at Pacific Edge.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. We're located there in Huntington Beach, and we're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. And phone number is area code 714-840-4262. The website's pacificedgetackle.com, and we will put up some pictures. And just because I hope Corey's listening, dude, the white flowers on the dogwood trees are going crazy, weeks ahead of schedule.
I like to hear it.
Hey, Mark, I know white sea bass is such a passion for you. I'm just giving you a heads up. There is a conversation about a potential reg change for white sea bass on the size limit. So that's in conversation. It'll be happening, talking about this year at the LRC and stuff.
Well, I got plenty of thoughts for you if anybody cares.
I think we're going to need help from the public on this one. How many, if we go and make it a longer length to bring on the boat, how many are going to get hurt because you don't know until you bring it on the boat, and they're very temperamental. They do not handle well once you put them in a net and bring them on the boat. So that's going to be part of our
that's so true.
Yeah. So,
but I hope what else you guys can do is work on that commercial season, because it is just wrong that those guys can sit there and just brutalize those spawning schools of fish in the springtime with no limit, no restrictions. It's just absolutely sick. So,
well, we look forward to your input when we do it. Yeah.
I'll have a little input for you.
Perfect.
Sure.
Mark, as always, buddy, sure appreciate everything you do. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
You got it. We'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, buddy. That report sponsored in part by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system for your processing for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest in customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street, or check fishermansprocessing.com. Be sure you make that reservation today. And, man, absolutely packed up full of text messages. Everybody's excited to get one in for Cameron. We're going to start it off with John, who's texting us, from Rancho San Diego. What a great show, guys. Cameron, can you give us a little rundown of what your go-to setup is for fly lining for yellowtail and the Mission Bell? Also, a little inside baseball. How do you like to pin your baits on? And do you think there's ever a situation when fishing the Bell where a spinning reel can be used, could or should be used? Thanks for your input.
Those are good questions.
Yeah, right?
I'm a 25-pound fly line bait setup guy. 25, 30 pound, depending on where and what we're fishing. I think the biggest thing I saw this year, kind of getting back into the full day game, mono is so easy for people to fish with. And there's guys, I know you're a straight braid, short top shot, and there's a time and a place and an angler for that. If you fish once or twice a year, 100 yards of mono, 100 feet or 100, it makes your life so much easier.
It's easier to cast. It's easier to manage your bait. You
when
stay
you're
out of more tangles.
When you're winding in, you're not, Spectre, you see a guy winds in really fast and it's loose. He casts his bait off. And there was so much frustration that I saw from it. And, I just like, are you opposed to mono?
Yeah.
No. And that, grab one of the guys or myself and dial a guy in. And you don't need a lot, but a little bit. And it makes such a difference for the average angler.
I think one of the hurdles to get over is people get themselves convinced that they're missing something by not doing it the other way. And that's not the case.
if you can keep yourself out of problems for 99% of the time, maybe if you draw all the conclusions in the 100% perfect world, if your bait is pulling a piece of specter through the water, maybe he swims a little bit better, and at one point a little burst out of him maybe gets a bite. So like that's what your pro is. But if the con is tangles 50% of the time, and not staying in contact with your bait, and 2 out of the 3 casts that you make, the specter doesn't come off the reel nice, and it hangs up and your bait falls off, and all of those things add up to, if your benefit is so little, but it's hurting you on all the other things, it's not a benefit.
No, I mean, my personal rod that I fish with, I have 100 feet of mono, and I tie fluorocarbon to that.
Mm-hmm.
And as I kind of start going through my line, and I'm lazy and don't add line, as soon as I start casting into my knot or dealing with too much spectra, it's an all stop for me and add mono. And then, hook and baits, it's so situational, whether we're on the anchor, a lot of current, slack current. The nose hook works great. I'm not a big nose hook. We had a kid fishing this year. I think we had 30 yellowtail. He hooked 8.
Come on.
On a breast hook sardine.
I love it. Okay.
Really?
And I was starting to get frustrated. Like, how are you? And I watched him, and he, the forward fins, he was hooking, and we had good current, and so now I find myself doing it. And what I tell people, I try to cast people out, and I'm helping, and, oh, why'd you hook it like that? It's like, just try.
I look at it, and if everybody's doing something, I want to be different. I don't want my bait in the same spot, the same way. I want to be away from that. That's how I look at it.
And then, if you shoulder hook them and you cast it out and you get a bite, now you have the confidence.
Yeah.
And now you know what the feel is. And maybe that's how you hook them. But if you just, if you're constantly nose hooking and you're not getting bites, and other guys, look around and see what other people are doing.
One question that comes up, the mackerel thing, the question came up earlier. Do you always nose hook a mackerel?
No, I no.
Yeah. I would belly hook it because I want it to go down and away.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're choosing to, you talked about the young man that was breast hooking them and nose hooking them, and is there a time that you choose to do one thing over another, like situational, and what is it for that thing?
It seems like if there's a lot of current and we're anchored up, the belly hook's tough. You can get away with a quick 30-second bait and it shoots away, but once it's out in the current, it's pulling against the it's not natural. Where a nose hook or a shoulder hook,
okay,
now it's kind of fishing into the current, and you can kind of stop your spool and you're still fishing. Rather, if it's a belly hook, you're kind of helicoptering back there.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it in the best way possible in what you said on everything else. Just fish, just try it, just do this, just do that. But and I know I know that I'm asking you a question that's also not black or white, but when do you decide too long has been too much for a bait? It seems like sometimes if you're not bit in 15 seconds, that it's over. Your window has gone. Or if it's 30 seconds, your window is gone. And sometimes you need to get the bait behind the boat. Like when you're putting your shoes as Cameron the angler, not Cameron driving the boat, like how does a guy make that decision when he's live bait fishing?
I kind of see where the fish are showing.
Okay.
If they're boiling maybe a jig cast and a half, and I try to maybe judge, like, okay, I should be in that area. Zone. But if it's been a minute or two, especially yellow, tuna fishing, long soak, different story.
Mm-hmm.
But yellowtail fishing, you get a minute and a half on a bait, a minute. That's a long time.
Totally.
I like to be on the tank, because I can kind of watch and quarterback it.
Sure.
And it's, as the captain, I watch, it's like, well, Wayne's getting bit in 30 seconds and Rick hasn't had a bite all day. Rick, hey, just try a quick bait, try 30 seconds.
It's so hard if you have a good swimming bait though, and he's getting away and you're sitting there going, oh, he's still swimming. I don't want to get rid of him, but he's past the zone. Like you're saying,
he's past the zone, or maybe we think it's a good bait, but maybe you're just sucked into the current now and you're going.
Totally.
Yeah, very true.
And the more line you have, the bigger the tangle can end up, for sure.
I like. I think I fish a bait too short sometimes to a fault, but I think that the fault in that just I can't stand a bait that's not ripping line off my reel. And
Mhm.
I always say it like everybody knows when you cast a bait out, when one hits the water and takes off, and you instantly in your mind like, oh, this thing's gonna get a bite. This thing's
Yeah.
gonna bite. I always think like if you're not fishing that one, well then why just keep changing until you are.
Right.
I mean, everybody knows the one that hits the water. Like they're guaranteed something is gonna eat this one. And if you don't have that level of confidence, I'm just gonna swap him out until you do. And sometimes that means going through him too fast, but.
We got to find that right bait
Yeah.
because, man, you just.
Yeah, because I don't want to go down to Wayne. I hated that scenario. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not going down to Wayne. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I'm staying out of
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
tangle
but
down the rail.
you
I don't have a bite yet. Like, not even a bite. You said,
And it's
I
frustrating.
hated that scenario.
And it's frustrating. You see guys that that's hard to catch a bait out of the. It's a lot of work at times. Changing your bait fast and stuff like that. But it's fast paced. This is our
It's
shot.
so funny because if you like what he said right there, you go from one part of the stern to the other side. If you're not bit, you're changing the bait and doing it again.
Yeah.
You never go down that rail, right?
Yeah,
'Cause you're not
conveyor
gonna soak a
belt.
bait.
Start
Yeah.
at the gates and you end up in the center stern. Start over.
I mean, Wayne was fishing yellow spectrin in the wrong spot. How am I going down to Wayne? Like, there's just no way. I can't.
That was blue spectra. Sorry.
Wayne, you had a good text in about it?
Yeah,
All right.
there's one that Mike H. in Mission Viejo. Question for Wayne and Cameron: can CCA provide a bullet point sheet to cover the highlights of the petition letter? Petition letter would need to cover so that we can be impactful as a committee of readers as possible. Absolutely, go up to the CCA website. They already have it out there that goes petition by petition and the rationale on either support or deny and why. So just go up there. It's already done. It's very good. And they've had it up there for a little while. So, yeah, thank you.
There it is. All right. Hey, and another fun one says, good morning, Rick, Wayne, and Captain Cameron. The Mission Belle is always such a fun boat to fish on. I can say that I fished on it for the first time at the beginning of last summer, proceeded to fish a handful more trips since then. I haven't been on the islands yet. All of our trips have been offshore, but I'm hoping to get my first trip into the islands with Captain Cameron this year. Could you give us a rundown on how you like to set up a dropper loop rig for yellowtail? What kind of loop knot, what size, test, sinker, etc.? That's from Rory in Lakeside.
I'm a spider hitch.
I like it.
We all know our kind of half day. I don't know the proper name of the knot, but the half day, twist, pull it through.
Little rockfish dropper loop.
Rockfish,
where the loop goes right through the middle.
Yeah, which is great for that. But for yellowtail fishing, I like a spider hitch. You double up your line, 40, 50 pound test. And the nice part is you can always change your sinker. There's times we're fishing in less than 100 feet of water, and there's times we're in 150 feet of water. I try to fish the smallest sinker that keeps me straight up and down. Whether maybe it's a 4 ounce or maybe it's an 8 ounce.
That's a good tip. The one thing I'll say with the dropper loop, if you're trying to catch something like a yellowtail, if you're going to catch something that you need to pull on, and it's a little bit hard to describe on the radio, but the barrel of your knot, it needs to point at where your hook is at.
Yeah.
And then on a rockfish dropper loop, like Cameron's talking about, your hook comes out the center of that knot. So when you're pulling hard against a fish, you're folding the knot in half to try and get the fish back to the boat. And there's just no strength there. And whether you're tying a spider hitch or a surgeon's or whatever flavor of loop you like, all of those strong ones, all the wraps or the barrel, it's pointed at the hook. And you just need to do that if you're pulling on something rather than just winding a fish up off of the bottom.
Absolutely.
And like in a halibut, if you're using the reverse dropper loop, then it becomes a thing again. If like you're tying your sinker to that loop, the barrel, now it's pointed, it's pointed at what on a normal dropper, it's pointed at the sinker. If you're going in a reverse, like it's fine, but the strength is in the direction that those wraps are in, not not popping out the center there.
Absolutely. So we have another one. Juan, he's asking, hey, gentlemen, quick question for Cameron. What's the best spot to fling surface?
There's been a lot. We have a really wide opening at kind of the gate or the end of the house. That's a great kind of, if the bow's busy, that's kind of where I'll sneak in. But the bow.
Yeah.
And it's such a classic bow for it too, man. That
Yeah.
boat is that's why I just know your decision to buy that boat was so perfect. It is you can't hardly put pen to paper and draw a better local full day platform than that boat.
And I'm just in it. We're not the biggest. The wheelhouse is close. It's like we stop the boat and I come out of the wheelhouse. It's like I'm right there with the guys throwing iron and getting bites, and you walk out of the door and you're gaffing.
I love it. It's certainly the right rig for it. Well, again, a great text, and appreciate that very much. Another one came through. This one is from Jeff in Santee. Captain Cameron, we're really interested in chartering the boat. Can you give us a little more rundown on how busy the season is booking up? I have a group of 20. What do you feel is the ideal charter size for either boat? And one more time, can you give us the rundown of how we book it?
20 is perfect.
Okay.
20 is sweet. 20 people fit in the galley and all hang out on the way out. It's comfortable. It's 20 feet across the stern. If we're anchor fishing, I would say call me. Okay. I like to, you can call the landing, and the landing does a great job of selling it, but you can call me direct. It's 619-693-2676. And we'll talk fishing. We'll talk what you want to do.
I think that's such a good call too, because you know the boat and you know what other people have experienced. And in a one-on-one talk, you can decide a little bit on if the group is too small or too big, or the type of fishing that one might expect, and to appropriately manage those expectations based on the time of year.
And we get charters where it's, maybe the charter master, he likes fishing, but his 19 friends have never done it. And hey, Cam, we just want to go get bites.
What a good point that is.
And it's like, okay. And then we can kind of cater to that. And okay, well, we should fish the islands. Let's go do some cod drifts, get everyone bites and fish to take home. And then we'll move into the islands and, try to catch a few jackpot fish.
You might have a group that just wants to go trophy hunting and has no problem striking out because they know they were in the zone of a big one the whole time. Or a day of whitefish fishing is going to be the most fun they've had ever, and trying to yo-yo up a yellowtail that doesn't want to be yo-yoed up.
Yeah, and we've done it with charter groups. It's offshore, and it's like, okay, let's get passports.
Yeah.
And, we kind of start doing the loop and talking to the overnight guys and everyone. It's like, I don't know if today's our day. And we've ended up at the rock pile fishing yellowtail.
And there again is the beauty of a family operation like yours. Like when you're calling the corporate headquarters of the Mission Bell, like it's your cell phone that's ringing.
Yeah, it's me.
The phone bank team of people that's going to get back to you is Cameron.
Yeah. I send a lot of, hey, sorry, I didn't see this email. It's been not real good at checking it, but
I just got back in range.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I like to hear it.
Hey, we got another one coming in. It's primarily a freshwater bass guy, and mostly because I don't handle seas well. What have you seen or recommend to do for motion sickness? That's Ron in Inglewood.
That's a good call.
It is a good call. The patchwork's great. I would, day before, kind of let your body acclimate to it, because it's prescription. It's heavy dose. A patch, and then we've seen these the relief bands.
Yeah.
And whether there's guys put them on, or I've seen a guy, I always carry it in my tackle box for my wife, and he goes and hands it to, a gal or someone on the boat that's seasick. And it's like at 9, they just want off. By 1 o'clock, it's, they're yelling in the corner, hookup.
I love that. And we were talking about those a while ago, and I believe that Dustin over at C4 Sport Fishing, the tackle shop, I know that they've got those over there, the electronic ones, and they're a bit of an investment, but what a rad thing for you to carry. One, if you're like, occasionally are susceptible to it, just to have something that could bring you back, or how cool to be the hero to somebody like that on the boat that's really struggling, and you can put something on them. And I'm sure, like anything, it doesn't work for everybody,
Exactly.
But if the stars align and it does, you're the savior.
And anyone who likes largemouth bass fishing likes Coronado Island fishing.
Period. No doubt about it.
We see a lot of professional bass guys, and they kind of look at this iron thing, and they start doing their bass thing, and they're into it.
It's cool. It's the ultimate chucking, winding, getting a bite, the fish pull hard.
Yeah, calico bass fishing, plastics, and all that.
I love it, man.
Absolutely.
Well, we had a fun text come through. Says, hey, good morning, guys. What a fun show with Captain Cameron. I'm really intrigued on your boat. I got a chance to tour it at Day at the Docks, and it looks fantastic. I'm wondering if you could give us a little bit of background on the boat, how you got it, and how you connected with the Mission Bell. Also, what's the capacity to comfortably fish on your boat? I know you covered that part a little bit.
Yeah.
But, give us a rundown of the boat and how you came to make the decision to be the
first boat I ever worked on.
No, I didn't know that.
Really? Yeah, 14 years old.
I had no idea. That's cool.
Dad dropped me off to go fishing. It was the first year Booger had owned the boat. Tara was a deckhand wearing his puka shells.
I love it.
And it was kind of one of those things. Hey, you can come out whenever you want. You just got to kind of help the guys. And it was. And so it was the first boat I had ever, worked on. And to the point where I remember unhooking a sand dab and like, oh, that's too short of a halibut, 14-year-old kid,
Sure.
And then I remember crying in the bathroom because I got stung by my first sculpin, and I was so embarrassed to tell the boss.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's just been home kind of in a weird way. And the first trip I was kind of the pinhead, I got to go in the wheelhouse, and Booger looked right at me and he goes, "You can't help the people up here."
Uh-huh.
And it was like, oh, and it was just, it was this weird thing. And then obviously being at Point Loma Sport Fishing, American Angler, Vagabond for a long time. Steve Peterson had acquired the Bell, and I had looked at it, it was just the Mission Bell, I was a long range guy, and as life changed and kids and wanting to be home a little bit, and my wife and I talked kind of about the next step in our future, and I called Steve Peterson, and there wasn't a for sale sign.
I
And
love that.
And what do you think? And it took a couple weeks, and he called me and he goes, "You know what? Let's do it."
Yeah.
And so we acquired the boat December of 24.
What a great story. It feels like it was really meant to be.
Yeah, it's really weird to like look back and think about like those times as a kid, and now walking up the dock or walking down the dock and like, well, it's still like, that's mine.
The thing that makes me so happy about it too is just in the stories that you tell, like you had such a great opportunity to come up with guys that really shared a lot of what made them successful, both in like treating, obviously the fishing thing. There's no doubt, you are a very successful fisherman and you're very good at it. But one of the things you guys do is you treat people with such respect, and you're just so good with everybody that comes fishing with you. And you can tell that a lot of people who do it really good imparted that on you. And it's very fun to get to see you get to do that with the pinhead, who's also going to be crying because he got stung by a sculpin. And like, what a cool opportunity for you to get to pass that along.
So lucky for the guys that have surrounded and helped me through my career. It's Sam Patel, and I went on the American Angler when I was 18. He said seamanship. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And then all of a sudden you're traveling up and down the coast for 4 days and you're learning about seamanship and tying things down and making sure people are safe. Or, Brian and Mike Lackey, they go down and talk in the galley for hours.
Right. Yep.
And, if you were the one waiting for them to come up so you could go to bed, it's like, what are they talking? But, it reflects in their business where both operations are so successful. And people that go on the Vagabond every year, it's not a matter of, oh, we caught them, how many we caught.
Yeah.
It's the experience.
Exactly.
And that's a big part.
Angler same way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, that's very true, because they'll remind you it's a service-based business every time.
100%.
Yeah, I love what you just said about Boog too, that, like, hey, you can't be helping people when you're up here. You're the kid, and like, now I kind of work on the boat. I'm one of the boys. I'm gonna hang out in the wheelhouse. It's like, well, this isn't where work happens. Work happens back out there.
Yeah, I got this.
Well, as you can hear, man, we're having some great conversations. This will keep going. We're reading all your texts. Keep going. You remember, get that on the app store and text us with your name and your phone number, because there's a couple coming in without it. Hey, we're giving away one lucky caller or texter, get a full day trip on the Mission Bell, and we'll be right back.
The San Diego Rodeo is happening soon at Petco Park, and your San Diego County Ford dealer can get you there as the official truck. Take a test drive at your local San Diego County Ford dealer and get 2 complimentary tickets to the San Diego Rodeo that's happening January 16th through the 18th. It's only while supplies last, and the tickets are going fast. Don't miss out. Be sure to visit buyfordnow.com to find your local participating Ford dealer to take your test drive today.
It's time for the How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore, with different colors every hunt. .com.
Hey, we're talking about Shimano. You can't go to the Coronado Islands without taking a Trinidad or a Talica. What do you think, Cam?
20A.
20A. There you go. It's been redesigned. It's silky smooth. How can you go wrong with that reel? It does everything. 25 pound, 50 pound, doesn't matter. It can have
into surface iron. It's undisputedly the best.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's ever been a reel created that casts a surface iron better than a Trinidad 20.
And how well they hold up. I mean, mine lives on the boat all year, and it's just doesn't look the pretty.
They're bulletproof, and they stay silky smooth.
Yeah,
they just do. There's nothing better than the Trinidad 20A.
Yeah, you get yourself a Tranks for bass fishing, a Trinidad for casting a jig, a Torium for fly line and live bait. You got yourself a perfect Coronado Islands outfit.
Absolutely.
This is Bill Varney with the 2026 CCA Sport Fishing Calendar, and I'd like to thank our advertisers for support. The calendar provides much-needed funding and highlights CCA's fight to protect marine habitat and your right to fish. If you need a tight calendar to plan your fishing trips, you'll find them at most tackle shops, landings, and online at surffishtackle.com. Thank you again for joining, volunteering, and supporting CCA California.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. We're in the studio with Cameron from the Mission Bell, and we're having a little technical difficulty, looks like, with the video. So, yes, thank you. We're getting text from it. We're having some great conversations. We're going to be talking. We have one text right now, Gary White, the Iron Man. He says, morning, everyone. Let's Talk Hookup used to run charters on the Mission Bell, mostly kids trip. Just want to say how kid-friendly and safe the boat is.
Oh, it's awesome. We do. We had a couple kid trips this year. Rich, they do a bunch of charters on the Searcher, and he just said, "Hey, I want to bring the kids," and so we did. We had 20 kids on the boat. The Fish 101 guys, we do a kids charter with them. Where John Park it's him and the kids.
I love it.
We
How
had
fun is that?
Love it.
Renee came from the Shogun to help out, and I mean, we did Parade of Lights, Jack, and we had 10 of his buddies tearing it up and running all over the place, and it's safe.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of kids trips, you got your first mate in here and joining you. Who now, Jack? I know you fish a lot. We get to see the pictures a lot. Are you stoked that Dad bought the Mission Bell? You have fun fishing on the Bell?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is your favorite type of fishing to get to go do with your dad?
Bass.
Bass fishing. Now, I have a big question. Because I know you do a lot of bass fishing. I know you do a lot of bass fishing with Grandpa in the lake, and I know you do a lot of saltwater bass fishing. Do you like one more than the other? You a bigger fan of fishing on the saltwater, or do you like fishing in the lakes with Grandpa?
I like fishing in the lakes.
Okay, I think that's a solid base.
Wow.
Well, it's certainly a lot of fun, and I know that you guys have had a lot of fun fishing on the on the boat. And like you said, Cam, that was a big thing about it. Is there is not a better platform to get to take a kid, somebody fishing like Jack, to get to go fishing on, because you're there for an extended amount of time, but it's very comfortable. You and your crew do such a good job, like making that environment the right spot. It's a really, really cool. It's a cool experience.
And the nice thing with the islands is 99% of the time we're in good weather. I mean, there's days it's choppy and stuff, but you put anchor down and it's comfortable for them. And we have our ringer, Karen, our cook. The kids are always hooked up.
I love it.
They do well.
I got a good one. Karen's been on there for forever. I grew up almost pretty much fishing with them. How many jars of odorless does she have now? She cleans fish, and she constantly is pulling those out and keeping them.
Yeah.
And she has one of the largest collections I've ever seen.
She's one of the best fish cutters. Besides, the fisherman's processing gig and all that. But, I mean, she's been teaching me how to cut fish better. Her knife skills would match up against anyone.
I love it.
She can do it in her sleep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Fast, clean, perfect to regulation, everything.
I love it. Well, hey, speaking of Jack's favorite thing to do, bass fishing, that brings us up to our next text, and it was a fun text, and it comes from Steve in Point Loma. It says, I'm a calico bass nut, and I really enjoy calico bass fishing. Cameron, can you give us a rundown of what you think is the best time of year to go fishing at the islands on your boat and potentially experience some calico bass fishing? Don't get me wrong, I like catching yellowtail, but bass is my favorite.
We had such good bass fishing this year, and it's funny because everyone's yellowtail crazy. And it's, they catch calico bass and they come over the rail and it's like, oh, yeah, not a yellowtail. But the guys that come out and throw lures and plastics and MCs and do all that, the fishing's crazy. Like, we've had such good fishing on SKR this year. And we had a couple Dana Point guys and they're like, this is insane. 3-4 pounders. And a big part of that was, anchovy this year.
Yes.
This spring with that anchovy at the Coronado Islands was as good as you would want bass fishing.
That's such a thing too, because when the guys were offshore trying to catch big bluefin, big bait sure makes a big difference. It's easy to cast and it's easier to get a bite. But man, having that small bait for calico bass fishing, something about sprinkling those anchovies in the water, it flips a switch that nothing else does. Like
it's the game changer.
It is.
It is.
Whether you like catching them on a plastic or whatever else, you start putting a little bit of that small bait in the water. It just makes those things. You said the words "let fish letting their guard down." Like nothing drops the guard like a couple of sprinkles of some chove in the water.
I mean, how many times do we complain that we're not catching them, and it's like there's too much anchovy in the water. There's too much fish food. And we're starting with our sardines, and bait was a challenge this year. It's. Especially, my generation of guys, we've been spoiled. Every time we go to the receiver, it's sardine.
Yeah, you guys didn't grow up with the anchovy.
We didn't grow up with it. And
we grew up with it on the heavy line, straight mono.
And, all the old timers, they like, these kids, they can't fish anchovies. Anchovies. Fly line an anchovy with a Trinidad 12.
Yeah.
Easy.
No problem.
No problem, right? And we had great bluefin fishing straight anchovies and just adapting. And I went and bought split shots and rubber cores.
Exactly.
I was pulling them off the shelf, and blowing the dust off them because they've been there for however long. But it's
I always get myself in trouble, and I'm going to do it again. I'm always getting in trouble for saying things that I'm not supposed to say about people's big things. But Mark talked about us getting to go up to CalStar and check out the thing. I won't be specific because I'm sure I'm letting far too much of that. Those guys have put their heads together, and like John now has this like crazy, like loose leash to get to do whatever's in the John head of building cool rods at CalStar. And like their inventory is better and all these things, but they have some really cool small bait rods that are brand new, that have, whether they be like different versions and adaptations, what they have, longer versions of bait rods that we already like, and like brand new blanks. Like the PCS show is going to be so cool at some of the new things that float out of CalStar. And I'm sure that I shouldn't have said that already, and I'm sure I'll get my talking to about it, but there was such cool stuff coming out of that area. Like we got up there for the little tour, and we put our plan together. We went and sat with John and Chris, and these are the things that we're hoping to do with Fisherman's Landing Tackle, and we're so proud of our partnership with CalStar. What do you guys think about this? And there was never a no no's came out of it ever. And it was also, hey, what do you guys think about this? And it was like being in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like getting to see all the cool stuff that they're building. But there is a lot of small bait rods coming out of CalStar with that in mind. You still need to be able to catch a bluefin, but cast an anchovy. Hey, what do you think about this? And John's just like giving this crazy free run of like, oh, you want to add some graphite or glass to this particular pattern? Try this, see what comes out. And man, when I was saying that the future of CalStar is so bright, like there is some really good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Your warning is out there. You better start saving some money because we're going to be buying product at the shows.
I was just going to say, Jack, you ready to go fishing pole shopping at Chris's?
Yeah, it's
going to be fun.
I know a yes. I know a yes when I see one for sure. Well, hey, we had another text come through. Let me bring that one right back up. It says, "Good morning, guys. What a great show as always. I love hearing from Captain Cameron and the younger generations of captains. It's been a year since you've had the bell now. What would you say was the biggest thing you've learned from having the boat? And what are some of the things you really look forward to with your beautiful new rig? Thanks for everything you do." From Mike in San Diego.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think as far as like kind of moving forward, it's just kind of doing what we did last year. We had a lot of new passengers that I've never fished with, maintaining all the relationships with, the Steve P loyalty guys and meeting that expectation. And then creating our new set of regulars and guys that fish once a week with us or their annual trip from out of town, and just creating a brand of Mission Bell that it's, competitive and we fish as hard as we can, but it's an awesome, comfortable place to fish.
It's such a unique space because you're right. The boat has had such a great following, and you got to protect that because the people who came before you built it and did such a good job. So you have a commitment to those guys, and it's not an easy playing field. There's some really good fishermen out there, and the thing that I think is the most fun is that they're all your buds. They're the guys that you worked with. They're the guys that you worked for. They've been your colleagues, but now they're the guy that you share the water with all the time. It's a very unique mix that has come together with the Bell.
Yeah, competing with Uncle Taro.
You think Dad kicks Taro's butt every time?
Yes.
You damn right. Dang right he does. That's awesome. Now, Jack, are you looking forward to going fishing this summer on the boat?
Yeah.
And I know you said bass fishing was your favorite. More so, do you like to cast lures when you're catching bass, or do you like fishing with bait?
Like bait.
Okay, I like it. And calico bass is your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Have you done yellowtail fishing with Dad yet?
No.
Okay. All right, and is that one of the goals that we have coming up?
Yes.
Okay, I like it. That works for me, man. I'm in.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, we got another fun text coming through, Wayne. I know you said you had one lined up.
Yeah, Sarah in Arizona, she says, what is the youngest age you would recommend taking your daughter fishing on the Mission Bell? My daughter is already asking to go.
What a great question.
I think I know this, Sarah. Auntie Sarah? Probably. Delilah? I think it depends a lot on the kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kids that being in one spot for 12 hours is a super long day. And there's kids who it's what they want to do. So Jack will be 5, and this will be the first year, or he'll be 6 for the summer. And this will be the first year he comes on the boat with me. But it's hard because if I'm on the boat, I'm working.
Yeah. And I think you said something very important there. When your goal is for it to be the right time to step up to that length of a trip, I think that at least in the beginning of it, like you need to go with the responsibility of making it, your person who you're taking that kid's trip. It's not a trip for you to see how many calico bass you can get and them some too. Like you're there to make sure that trip is right from start to finish.
Yeah, that's kind of our plan. I know he'll want me to drive when he comes on the Bell, but like we're gonna bring Papa Mikey.
Yeah, totally.
And Papa Mikey and Jack can tear it up and but yeah, that is a huge. Unfortunately we see it at times, and it's expensive. Dad, it's his day off too, and
sure,
he wants to catch one, and then I'll get my son one, and that's when like Karen comes in,
right?
Mm-hmm. And that kid is golden, and now the kid's gonna catch more than the dad,
totally.
But yeah, make the trip about
always.
I
mean, I remember so distinctly the times when you get to get a grilled cheese sandwich anytime you want. All you got to do is tell them my number is 16 and a grilled cheese sandwich comes your way. And, you got to create, it's your job to create the fun and keep that in mind for the first few, because once you do that and that foundation, that's it. You got a fishing bud for life. Son, daughter, doesn't matter,
I go into the galley, and fill my coffee cup up when we're stopped and fishing, and I'll kind of see a kid lurking and kind of looking at all the candy bars, and it's like, grab one. Really? It's like, if it's okay with your dad, and you see him run, Dad, can I have a candy? And yeah, it's like, all right, which one do you want? And that's what it's all about. How if he wants to fish for 10 minutes of the trip and he likes, playing with sardines, play with sardines.
Totally. Exactly.
Yeah.
We do a lot of kids trips, up and down the state, and that it's all about the kids enjoying that experience and letting them explore and try things. And, let them play with a few fish and feed a couple of seagulls. It's not going to kill anything, It's always good.
That's fun.
So we have another one here. Question for Cameron. What's the ideal yo-yo fishing setup for yellowtail at the islands, rod, reel, jig, etc., Elmer in Spring Valley? Your ultimate. What would be the one if I only get one?
Rod blinks are tough. I'm the worst. Chris was super gracious and did a 6470. Does that make sense?
6470 is very cool. Yeah, it's a 7-foot kind of fast tapered 50-pound rod.
Yeah. That's my current one. And I have a Fathom 40 on it. Something in that kind of 4.0 size, 40, 50-pound test. I like mono when I yo-yo.
Totally.
And then depth for jig size. If I can get away with the 6X Junior,
Why fight a bigger jig if you don't have to?
Totally. I'm a Salas 6X Junior guy.
Okay.
I am true to the brand.
Not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
A scrambled egg 6X Junior.
That is.
I love it.
I like blue and white, but that's
you mentioned one forever. So I'm in 100% agreement with that entire rig. That's perfect. That's it. That's the perfect bang for the buck, and it's everything. If you were as though like throwing that weird caveat of like this is the last one forever and money is burning a hole in your pocket and you could pick anything, Shimano makes the coolest yo-yo jig reel that's ever been made that isn't meant for yo-yo jig fishing, that you have to do a couple of, techie trick things to. So they make a jigging reel, that Osea Jigger 4000, and it's meant for that, knife jig type fishing, but it's very purpose built for that. It's got some features that kind of take it away from being a good yo-yo yellowtail reel. It's got like an auto engage clutch where, when you turn the handle, it goes back into gear.
Or you cast.
Yeah,
I've almost lost a few of those.
We can't have that for that reasons. The
Right.
handle that comes with it is perfect for that big jigging thing, but it doesn't make for a great yo-yo jig thing. But if you modify those things out of it, you take the auto engage out of it and you put like a regular Trinidad 30 handle on it, that's it. It basically turns that reel into what would be a Trinidad 40, but a little bit narrowed up. But it's still fast and it's got all that crazy torque.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
But it's not an inexpensive reel either. But if you're talking one you're talking one for the rest of the days,
That's the Gucci.
that's the one. That's Gucci to the max, boy. Let me tell you. Hey, had another fun text come through from Captain Cameron from Dwayne. Says, Cameron, what a great show this has been. I love hearing about the Mission Bell. You guys do such a great job. Can you give me a story? You've spent a lifetime on the water of one of your favorite National Geographic moments you've encountered in terms of wildlife on the water. That's from Jason.
Ooh, man, I have been so fortunate in what you witness and take for granted. I think one of the coolest things, and it's accessible to anyone, is I used to work those ecology trips on the Searcher. I'd get to do one a year.
Okay.
And because everyone had to have a license because they had the skiff. So if you took passengers on the skiff, you had to be able. So Art would kind of recruit all of us, and
Yeah, anybody who's off in the off type of time of year.
San Ignacio.
Okay.
And petting a gray whale and it's doable. There's camps down there. You can go on the Searcher. Royal Polaris does them. To go in that lagoon and be with friendly gray whales and pet
cool.
and eye to eye and get blow spray all over your face. Like there's nothing
I'll bet.
like that.
Being that close to something that big. I mean, I've never done it, but I can't imagine something that's that big being docile to the point where you can bring the skiff up to it and touch it and do all those kinds of things.
And you're not chasing them.
Yeah.
The mom's pushing the baby up for it, and it's not SeaWorld.
That's pretty cool. It's the real deal.
It's the real deal. But San Ignacio, like a couple more years, we're going.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's a 99.99% of the world will never ever experience it. Right?
Yeah, and it's accessible. You can, San Ignacio, you can't necessarily just fly into, but you can fly, I think, into Loretto and take a van over, and there's camps on the beach and stuff, or jump on the Searcher, Royal Polaris, and go down to the lagoon for 2 days.
What an experience you're going to get on one of those trips too, because they bring a naturalist with them, right? And it's their knowledge of all the things that you're seeing, and I'm sure even a guy like you that spent a lifetime on the water, you're soaking up info that you just don't know about, whether it be that particular, it changes from, well, that's a whale to like, well, that's this type of whale. And not only is it this type of whale, it's in this area doing this thing. Like, think about how much info you're going to soak up on a trip like that.
It's, Brian had pushed us all to go do it. And that was kind of just go learn, and it was like, I'm a fisherman. I've been on a boat for 15 days and not fish, and I couldn't, like, after it's like, sign me up.
I'll bet.
The birds, the whales, and the Sea of Cortez, and humpbacks, and blue whales, and taking the time to get up close where the blue whales coming out from underneath the hull. And I recommend it to any fisherman that, any fish or die type of guy. You want to put a real perspective on it. One of those eco trips.
What a fun thing to do with your partner too. Maybe your gal's not crazy into fishing, but you go on the experience and you're still going to get that same great level of service that a boat like the Searcher or the RP is known for, and the good food. And there's zero pressure. You're not worried about getting a bite on the next day. You're just hanging out and enjoying what it throws at
Yeah, there's
you.
happy hours and barbecues on the back deck. I know Andy Rooster is
right,
starting
yeah.
to do them now, and he has a masseuse. You know, it takes the fishing part out, and these boats are they're beautiful, and it's a vacation. It's cool.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
I'm really a fan of the masseuse and the chiropractor on the long range trips.
Yeah. I'm ready to do it on the Mission Bell, man. It's a couple hour drive coming home. Sign me up.
Unbelievable. Can you believe we have gone through 2 hours? Hey, we'll be right back. We'll be having Captain Cameron flip in that coin to see whether the lucky texter or caller will
I don't
be.
think Cameron's getting near that coin.
I think that's someone's job.
Yeah, someone else is going to be flipping that prize coin.
Somebody's going to get a full day trip on the Mission Bell. When we come back, we'll be right back.
Do you know why 1 million customers visited
my
Summit
job.
Gasoline
That's
last
right.
year
All right,
at the
so you
San
ready to
Diego
flip the prize
Sports
coin?
Arena? Because
Okay,
they give you the
so how
lowest
we like
price
to do
on
it is
fuel.
you can flip
Great
it any way you
service
want.
and
You can
easy
throw it, you
access,
can flip
even
it,
for
and
trucks and
dump.
trailers
The only
after
thing we want it to
24
do is
pumps.
land on
Summit
the
is
cable.
known
So
for
all
the best price on
listen
ice,
to the
too.
joke here.
Almost
Right.
half the cost of any other
Perfect.
vendor.
That's
25 pounds for just
flip. So we'll do it when we
$3.99.
come
Martha
back.
and her crew
We'll
love
say, all right,
fishermen,
Jackie, flip
and
the
they'll
prize
prove
coin,
it by
and then if
giving
it's
you
got a
100
T on
pounds
one
free
side,
with a
the prize to
35-gallon
go fishing
fill-up.
with Dad is
Summit
gonna
offers
be
over
to a
40
texter,
snacks and
and if
drinks
it's
to
a
choose
C
from
on
for
the other
only
side,
89
it's gonna
cents.
go to a
And even a
call.
line of hand
So
creams
that's
and
it.
lip balms
When we
for
come back,
89 cents,
I'll
too.
point
Summit
to you
now
and you do
proudly
the
offers
big flip
locally
for us.
made
I got
burritos
7.
and sandwiches, made fresh daily and ready to
I
go
need a number
wherever the
between
current
1 and
takes you.
11.
Summit just upgraded their car wash, and for a limited time, get a deluxe car wash for only $6.
Okay, that's
Grab
on
the
my
wife's
list.
car, grab a cheap
Mike
sandwich,
and
and
Sandy
make up for the day
Thank
on
you,
the water. Summit Gasoline, lowest prices, friendliest staff, easy access, and free ice. What more can you ask for?
A top fleet and superb
Thanks for
fishing
coming
is
in,
what
bro.
Sports Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all
Look
about.
at you. Now you're going to be the
And
next
fully stocked
personality on the
tackle
radio.
shop.
We
It's
don't
no
need
wonder
Dad.
Seafood Sport Fishing is
You're
a
gonna come in
favorite
now.
among anglers.
I'll be
Come
spending
aboard
all of
top
my
boats
time
like the
trying to
Aztec,
recruit you
Cortez,
to come
Endeavor,
with tackle
Apollo, Outer Limits,
Oh.
Elgato Dos,
Your,
Pride, Tribute Pacifica,
your
Pacific
rating
Voyager,
job.
and the
So,
Voyager.
for
Plus
Dad,
the
I
new
know will be
Seaport,
difficult.
Sea-Watch,
That
and
would be
San
a-
Diego
that's gonna
offer
be
the
my
finest
goal.
But they have more
half-and-full
toys.
trips
Yeah,
available.
you know what I
Seafood
was-
Sport
stuff.
Fishing.
You know what I was
Regular
telling
open
Rick,
party
because
schedule, check
his sons are a little
seafoodlanding.com.
younger,
Run by
and his son
fishermen
loves
for
grade
fishermen
digger.
in Mission Bay. For
I
your
was
next
telling him about
fishing
your
adventure,
cool
check
RC
Point
one
Loma
that
Sport
goes in the
Fishing.
water.
They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point
I don't
Loma
have one of
Sport
those. I
Fishing
need one of
also
those.
offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information
And it
on the
does
trips
flips,
available,
right?
or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers
loud
worldwide,
too, wasn't it?
and that's CalStar. From the rugged
That's
dependability of the West
Dad
Coast
was
series,
thankful
the
that we had
lightweight
dad
strength of the
earplugs.
graphiter, or the performance of the
Did Dad
GG
have dad
series,
earplugs, or just
all
their
CalStar
earplugs in
rods
general?
are handmade
That I had
right here
my
in Southern
own.
California.
This dad did.
Of the
The
finest
boys
materials and craftsmanship.
were very well
Check out the new
protected. His dad
CalStar
didn't
models
have
now
that.
available.
I wasn't
as well as
until
upgrades
one of the
for
dads like pulled out a bag and was
you want
like,
your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job
Yeah,
done
Dad
right.
also had
It's
our boys
CalStar.
all
Fine
loaded
tackle.
up. Dad, on the other hand,
Everyone has their go-to fishing
impressed
spot.
with how
My
loud
spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska.
You don't
Right
notice
here,
it, too, till you
if you're
walk
looking
out.
for the
Yeah,
ultimate
right.
Is that
Alaska
ringing?
experience
Yeah.
and the best
Who's
value
saying
in
that?
Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations,
Yeah, it was
the
weird with
finest
the,
food,
the camera
world-class
freeze
fish
up there.
processing, and
We gotta figure
top-of-the-line
this bug
fishing
out.
experience.
This
We've literally
gremlin.
sent
They
hundreds
said
of our listeners
I just
to
got a
Kingfisher, and
Chris
they all
Solo
can't
just
wait
sent
to
a
go
thing
back.
saying one of the
Most
mics is hot, and I'm
Alaska
like,
resorts make big
I bet I know
promises,
who.
and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost. But not Kingfisher. Everything is included: your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally, all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters, and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters. 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
Your time's
Welcome
up.
back to Let's Talk Hookup. Well, here we are. We're going to have Jack flip the coin here to see who's going to win that full day trip on the
Okay.
Mission Bell?
Let's do
Let it go. And it's a texter. We're going to have Mike from San Diego. You're going to win that full day trip on the Mission Bell. Congratulations.
Nice flip, Jack. That was perfect.
Great.
Good, solid flip. Well, hey, congratulations to Mike. And man, we spent 2 hours talking about how much fun it is fishing on board the Bell. And Mike, congratulations. I know you're going to have a great time. And
Man, what more can you say? Just really, really pumped, Cameron. First, thanks for taking the time to come fishing with us. But more importantly, thanks to you and your family for continuing on the tradition of such a rad boat. And we can't wait to come do it and come fishing with you this year.
Yeah, we're excited. And, if you start, Instagram Mission Bell, you start following along, we'll show all our maintenance projects and kind of what we have going on and when we're going to start running. And
what is the page? Where do we find that on Instagram?
Just Mission Bell Sport Fishing.
Okay, awesome.
And we do our best. And, it's kind of been slow now, but as we get going here, there'll be daily post and kind of let you guys know what we're up to and when the first trip is and all that.
And March is when we're thinking
Yeah.
we're going to be up and running in go time.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's time.
All right. Well,
Very
we're
cool.
pumped and so stoked to have you. One more time, too, if somebody wants to book a trip, book a charter, want to talk to you directly, how do we do all that?
619-693-2676.
Awesome. You're the best. Appreciate
All
it
right,
very
thank
much.
you, guys.
Jack, thanks for taking care of us. Make sure to keep this guy in line, and we're looking forward to hearing some bass fishing here later on this summer, all right?
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot for that. Hey, we sure appreciate you listening. Another couple of great shows coming for you up next. Tomorrow on Sunday, we have Bob from Katmai Lodge. We're going to be talking Alaska. We're going to be talking all that amazing wildlife. Going to be a great show. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live and on 97.3 The Fan.